Alright, boys and girls, we freaking did it! We hit 2k subs live on stream today, and I just want to say a massive thank you. It put a massive smile on my face, and it means a lot. Everyone that's been subbing and watching the videos and leaving comments and all that stuff, especially feedback, is always muchly appreciated. It's been really awesome. It feels like just the other day we hit 1k, so I want to say a massive thank you to everyone. And that being said, we're doing a big giveaway. We already did a big one at 1k, this is going to be bigger, so make sure you sub if you haven't already because you don't want to miss it. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but it's going to be big, I promise. Alright, that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay, let's get some ground rules out of the way first. We kind of went over and had a look at this on stream today, so if you want to be involved in any of that kind of stuff, make sure you follow me on Twitch. I stream every second day. And it got to the kind of point when we're going through doing stam and mag of each class to the... It got a bit confusing, a bit tricky, because it's like, where does a mag build turn into a stam build, and when does a stam build turn into a mag build? And that line has just got very blurred over the last 3 months to 6 months. So I made the executive decision that we're going to treat this as a whole class instead of a stam and mag. So we will talk about maybe the individual ones where it's applicable, but the game's got to a point where we're choosing skills over which one is best instead of, you know, whether a morph is stam or magic, and then we're basing our like stat pools and then our recoveries around how many mag skills and how many stam skills we've got. The builds have got a lot more based around the skills we use instead of the skills being based around our stats and the build that we choose. That being said, this is for solo 1vx. Let me know if you want a group tier list, something we can do down the line too, but that's primarily what I do is solo 1vx, so that's what we're doing this for. That all in mind, I think we should get into it. Let's get the most, I guess, boring or least interesting, in my opinion, classes out of the way first. Necro, it's going to be pretty much what it is this patch in just about every way. It's losing a bit of survivability, but I think it will be just perfectly fine. And let's go A tier, I guess. Like, that's... I just don't have much to say about this. I should be stretching it out, but I just don't. Alright, Templar. Templar got hurt, and it feels like a lot of Templar's soul kind of got attacked last the update. You know, jabs were their bread and butter. Jabs were what made Templars kind of Templars in a lot of ways. They're pretty much the only class that has a spammable like that. And it got gutted. It got hit big. I don't know what this is going to mean for the bigger picture of melee Templar. We're hearing, say words please. That range Templar is looking pretty promising next patch, which does interest me because I used to quite enjoy me some ranged Templar, so that could be very interesting and could save the class. But going off what I have right now, and a lot of people will be like, I've seen this around and heard this a lot, that classes with purges are going to be way stronger than classes that don't have purges. I think that's kind of true, but there's a couple of things that can make that not so true. One is Balm. The set is just fucking OP. You don't need a purge necessarily. That kind of does it all for you. And the second is the meta that we're going to see. Are we going to see primarily single target high burst skills and not many people running dots, because dots are going to kind of suck? And if we are in that kind of scenario, then purge classes aren't going to be that important. They're not going to be any different really to what they are now. I just think that it's important to kind of mention that and get that out of the way as well. So that all being said, I reckon a B+ for Templar next patch. Alright, let's move on. Oh dearest Sorks. For those that don't know me since the real old days, I'm a Mag Sork main by heart. I've been waiting for that patch to kind of relight that flame and bring me back and enjoy the glory days all over again, and sadly I don't think this is going to be the patch. I think they're in a better place than what a lot of people maybe consider them. Basically people writing Bow Sorks off, that they're frigged, they're destroyed, Savage Werewolves fucked. I think a lot of people gave too much credit to Savage Werewolf in that whole build setup. So I've heard someone in chat said their Bossorks hitting harder next patch. So I already had an inkling that they're going to be good. Whether they're going to be better, speculation on my behalf. Now, something that I do want to just remind people of the previous dot meta that we had. Quite a while ago now, but it was kind of the opposite of what we're going to have next patch. Dots hit really hard. Now, obviously, we're going into a meta where dots last really long, but the result is kind of the same. There's going to be a lot of dots on you, well, more than normal. Sorks have been a high mobility class. You kind of can't line of sight dots once they're placed on you. Yeah, you can purge them, but Sorks don't have a native purge. Once certain set gets nerfed next patch, that could be an issue for Sorks like it was in previous dot metas. Just food for thought, basically. Magsork. Magsork's kind of the same. I don't think they're going to be decent until there's some... Magsork, that is. I don't think they're going to be decent until there's kind of some pretty big shifts in meta in this game. But overall, I think they're going to be probably a B+, A- class. Give or take, we'll have to see. But yeah. Next up is DK. Now this is probably going to be the most controversial one that I'm going to say. I think they've got potential to be A, maybe even A+ tier next patch. I know a lot of people wrote them off, but I think they're going to have great survivability. The only big question mark is their damage. Are they still going to have burst potential and be able to kill? If they can easily get that kill potential out of them, they're going to be a great class. They're going to have solid healing, cauterize, burning embers. Burning embers got a 40% buff. Durations through the roof. This is all going to come down to whether they can kill. And I know that that's like a bit of a cop-out because that's a pretty big part of the game. And yes, it's going to, it's a big swing here. It's either going to be a really good class or they're going to suffer and they could be down in the B- tier area. Down there, maybe even C+. They could be really bad who cares what your survivability's like if you can't kill? Anyway, that's just my thoughts. That's probably that's my outside pick. That's the one that's probably, it's paying good odds, but, it might come home. Overall, I'm going to take a gamble and I'm going to put it in A tier. Alright, I saved the best for last, boys and girls. Now, after I was a Sork main, I was a Stamden main. And where Sork couldn't do it for me, Stamden is coming through and, relighting that flame. And me and Wardens are going to have sexy time again next patch. Oh my god. I need to stop recording these videos just before I go to bed. Wardens, I don't think are going to be the best class next patch, but they're going to be up there. Their buffs to Arctic and Polar, both great morphs next patch. We have a video testing them to each other and to the live versus PTS. Very interesting video, great numbers, fun shit. But basically, both great morphs now, solid healing, don't need to stack health anymore if you don't want to. The magic version of Shulks, I think, is a buff. I know a lot of people have called it a nerf and that no one will use the second proc. And what I say to that is, in PvE, maybe not. But in PvP, it's burst. We all care about burst. 3 more seconds in between lining your burst up can work quite well. You hit them with your first proc. You've got 3 or so seconds of, just getting a bit of pressure into them. And then you go into your burst window. I think it's not a problem. And it is actually quite a good benefit. How many times will you get on a Warden, you'll get put on your back bar and you don't have a chance to recast your Shulks every 3 seconds? In this scenario, you've got another one that's going to hit really hard and maybe open that offensive window for you again. I think it's overall, it's a buff. You can disagree, that's fine. Obviously, Betty is going to be a big up for Warden next patch, and I think that's what's going to take it from just being a run-of-the-mill class to being a pretty dominant class next patch. with all these dots out there and certain sets, it's just gonna make the difference. Now, I'm putting it in A, maybe A+, somewhere there. And you may have noticed that we haven't had a single S tier class throughout this whole video. And I said Warden isn't the strongest class, so there must be an S tier. And I think that's going to be Stam Nightblade, or Nightblade in general, either way you want to look at it. There's one change to Nightblade that really hasn't got much discussion and kind of, you know, gone under the radar, but it just adds to the changes to Nightblade. You've got Concealed Weapon now that's adding that 10% damage multiplier, but Elude is going to be really strong. 10% reduced dodge roll cost every 0.5 seconds when you take direct damage. That's gonna make dodge rolls so damn cheap. Like, it's... If you're on a 1v4, you could quite easily get a 30-40% reduced dodge roll cost up in 3 or 4 seconds. Even if you're looking at, you know, a 20-second reduced dodge roll cost, that's huge when it comes to your sustain. Survivability, because obviously the more you can dodge, the more, you know, you can dodge. So there's obviously been a lot of talk about the other changes, but I think this one kind of just, everyone seen it and went, oh, that's cool, and hasn't warranted too much more discussion. Overall, next patch is going to be a whole lot more about burst damage and kind of taking a player from 0 to dead, and there's no better class in the game that does that other than Nightblade. Nightblade is the king of doing that. So when we're talking about having a meta where that's super important, of course Nightblade's gonna be OP. It's been up there for a long time, and it's almost like one of the game developers is a freaking Nightblade player, or quite a few of the developers are Nightblade players. Maybe. We all know they are. Like, it's been freaking obvious for many years now. Can they at least play Magnite, please? Dark Cloak. Dark Cloak's an interesting one for me. It's so weird. And I guess it's a PvE change more than anything. For PvP, it's weird. I have video testing this as well. I think it would have been fine if they left it healing the same as it is on live and then gave you a nice little buff when you didn't move. I think that could have made it worthwhile. I just don't think the heal's good enough to warrant that, you know, no mobility. Like, no mobility when you're freaking getting, you know, outnumbered is the fastest way to die. And it's not a good enough heal and not a good enough tank skill to warrant having to stand still. Now, obviously, you can mix that up, you know, with a bit of movement and a bit of standing still. Hey, we'll see. Maybe it will get some more use. Maybe it won't. But I think Nightblade's an S tier class. There, I said it. Disagree with me in the comment section. But yeah, that's it, boys and girls. We got through it all. Now, as I said, this is speculation, and I could be wildly wrong about just about everything I just said. And, you know, I may miss some stuff too. So please have a discussion in the comment section. You know, let me know what you thought. And once again, massive thank you to you guys for 2K subs. It is amazing. And I have another cool announcement to make, but I think we'll save that one till the next video. As always, boys and girls, I do love yous all. Peace.